On behalf of the organizing team, ICMMM 2014, I welcome you all to the valedictory function. As we have our distinguished guest, now I request Professor A. Ramesh, Chairman, Center for Continuing Education, IIT Madras, to take his respectful seat on the dais. We are honored to have Dr. S.K. Mishra, CEO, BrahMos Missiles, as our chief guest. I request him to grace the dais. I request Professor N. Ramesh Babu to accompany him. We are delighted to have Dr. V. Ramanujachari, Director, Research and Innovation Center. I request him to grace the dais, accompanied by Dr. G.L. Samuel, Secretary, ICMMM. We have been listening to eminent speakers deliberating in the areas of materials, manufacturing and metrology since yesterday morning. All these valuable insights gave us a new perspective that one should adopt while dealing with the research. We extend a hearty thanks and welcome to our dignitaries by presenting them with a bouquet of flowers. I now request them to present the bouquet of flowers to Professor A. Ramesh. I now request Sindhu to present a bouquet of flowers to our chief guest, Dr. S.K. Mishra. I now request Rajeshwari to present a bouquet of flowers to our guest of honor, V. Ramanujachari. I now request Uma Maheshwari to present a bouquet of flowers to Professor N. Ramesh Babu, Manufacturing Engineering Section, IIT Madras. Thank you. Now I request Professor N. Ramesh Babu, Department of Mechanical Engineering, to deliver his welcome address.
So, good evening to all of you. Yesterday, we had the inaugural address by Professor Sundarajan, who was the head of the department, and the other dignitaries like Professor Bhaskar Ramurthy. Others were present to welcome you all. I think today it is my pleasant task of welcoming all of you to this valedictory function. First of all, I would like to welcome Professor Mishra, who is alumnus of this institute from our own division in 1994. Now he has taken up very recently the Chief Controller R&D, the BrahMos, which is a very prestigious position. So I would like to welcome him, and then let's give a big hand to his achievement. Really, it's a great achievement. I think we need to recognize this one because he is our own student of the manufacturing engineering section. Of course, the other dignitary on the dais is Professor Ramanujachari, Dr. Ramanujachari, who is again our alumnus from the thermal section. You can see all the divisions coming together and then carrying out this particular function, which is very, very important for the manufacturing and the growth of the entire country. I think we all know about the role of manufacturing, so hence I would like to welcome him to this function. Of course, Professor Ramesh, who is my colleague and currently he is the chairman, Center for Continuing Education, is quite active not only in academics, in various other programs being conducted nationally and internationally. I have great pleasure in welcoming him to this function. Of course, lastly that I would like to say that over the last 2 days, you have been witnessing various events, starting from the keynote session by Professor Whitehouse, and then other the invitees, and today we have seen Professor Scott Smith delivering the keynote on the initiatives on the manufacturing in USA. Then subsequently Professor Sushil on materials and advances in materials. Then again from Hyundai, there was a presentation on the automotive sector. I think with all these things, I am sure that the delegates would have immensely benefited in knowing the state of the art in all these areas like materials, manufacturing and metrology. So I hope that you carry good memories. And we also had a long felicitation function to Professor Shanmugam yesterday. I think it was really a thrilling and worth remembering for a long time for you all, to celebrate and to organize such functions to your teachers and mentors. I think with these few words, I just wanted to say that the delegates are always welcome to the Department of Mechanical Engineering and also to the Manufacturing Engineering section, wherein we have been actively engaged in the research in all the three areas with almost 10 faculty members focusing on the aspects of materials, manufacturing and metrology. Apart from this manufacturing section, we also have a very big department about which Professor Sundarajan would have already explained it to you yesterday. He didn't say anything. I think we have almost 10 laboratories, and these laboratories are organized stream-wise like a design, a thermal and manufacturing. And what I have just mentioned was only about the manufacturing, wherein the core activities related to the materials, manufacturing and metrology take place. But then we also have another division, another laboratory called Precision Engineering and Instrumentation Laboratory, where we have a couple of faculty members working on the robotics and microprocessors and controllers, etc. And that is part of the manufacturing engineering section. Then the design side, we have several activities starting from the designing of machine elements, designing of the systems, the non-destructive evaluation group, which is quite active, and there we have about 20 to 22 faculty members. Then the thermal is again a large group of faculty members working on various aspects, such as the internal combustion engines, IC engines, then heat transfer, then thermodynamics, then combustion, then turbo machines, where hydro turbo machines and the thermal turbo machines. I think there again we have about 35 to 40 faculty. So overall we have about 60 faculty members actively engaged in the both teaching as well as the academic research. And probably if you interact with some of the faculty members, you know that they have been quite aggressive in various sponsored research projects as well as the consultancy projects, not only at the national level and internationally. And they have been occupying several positions at various committees as the chairmen and members, apart from the other academic recognitions such as the editorial board members and editors of various journals. I think this gives us a lot of confidence that the youngsters can take this department way forward in a big way. I think I would like to tell all the other delegates also, in your departments and in your universities, you need to put a lot of effort in order to take these departments forwards for the sake of the next generation. So I am hopeful that the interaction that has taken place over the last 2 days at this conference will enable you to interact with the faculty members of the IIT Madras and enrich your experience and knowledge in various fields and interact with the faculty very closely. I think this is very important for you to grow in your own career. I think, as I said, when these members are seen in various committees, it gives you a soothing, some sort of a comfort, saying that I know so and so professors with whom I can really get in touch and then try to get some projects. I think, of course, we don't give the projects just like that, but then when at least some guidance can come from these faculty members. I think please remember that these functions are very important, and this sort of a colloquiums and meetings and workshops will enable you to grow in the ladder. And of course, on our side, we also talk to each other to see that the major initiatives can be taken up in the next couple of years to provide opportunities for all these youngsters. I think as we have seen that Professor Scott Smith was mentioning about the initiative, we have so many roadblocks at various levels, and these roadblocks can be really cleared only through some lobbying. I think the lobbying can take place only at these places like the conferences and meetings. And of course, it's not only lobbying, the effort put in by you all will also help that these areas can be taken forward in a big way. So I think with these few remarks, I would like to welcome all the guests and the dais and also the delegates who have come here to witness this valedictory function. I am very happy to see a large number of delegates are still present, which is quite unusual in any conference or colloquium. I am very happy to welcome you all once again, and you please so enjoy the valedictory function. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor A. Ramesh, Director, Center for Continuing Education, IIT Madras, to deliver his presidential address.
Respected members in the dais, faculty members who are here, invited speakers, the other faculty members and other industry participants who have come to participate in this colloquium, and all the others who are present here. I am extremely pleased to be here in this valedictory function and be a part of this valedictory function. And the International Colloquium on Materials, Manufacturing and Metrology has brought us together for these few days. Apart from the important deliberations, one more feature of this colloquium has been the unforgettable and memorable event that has also taken place, which is the felicitation function of one of our beloved and respected professors, namely Professor M.S. Shanmugam, who has contributed significantly to the field of metrology and manufacturing in particular. And it's a great honor for me to be associated with this sort of a colloquium. I'm not from the field of manufacturing, but one can very easily understand the importance of manufacturing and the role it plays in enhancing the level of a country, particularly developing countries like India. Countries like China have captured the admiration of the whole world by their growth and progress, and this has been largely due to the manufacturing sector on which they have been focusing. And we in India have also been focusing on manufacturing a lot. And what is the value of anything if it can be conceived and even though it can be conceived and designed, but it cannot be manufactured with the precision with which it has to be made. So there's a lot of importance to be given to manufacturing. This has been rightly felt here. Our country is striving hard to become a leader in this sector, and which is extremely important for our growth. And one of the attractiveness of the manufacturing sector here is the manufacturing sector is so attractive that there has been a lot of foreign investment, particularly in the areas like automotive manufacturing, then pharmaceuticals, and also in mobile phones and so on. And our country is looking forward to a rapid growth here. Currently, I see that the growth is about 14%, and they are expecting a growth of about 15 to 16%, raised to about 20 to 25% by 2022 in this manufacturing sector. And so we have to keep pace with these kinds of expectations, and definitely we have to build our strengths. And they also say that about 90 million jobs will be created by 2025 because of manufacturing in our country. And there are a lot of national investment manufacturing zones being set up, which means that there's a lot of demand for engineers who are specialized in manufacturing. Thus, the timing of this colloquium is just right in this context. Our institute at IIT Madras has a very long tradition in producing very good mechanical engineers, I would say even excellent mechanical engineers, particularly devoted to the field of manufacturing. This colloquium has been organized and in such a way that it can bring teachers, researchers, industries together so that they can all work together for the betterment of our country. And I'm very happy that we have played a role in this sort of an event. Very eminent speakers have come here from all over the globe. They have shared their experiences and knowledge, and I'm sure it would have motivated all the young minds here to work in this area of manufacturing. Unless we lead in manufacturing and methods and materials, I think we'll not be able to make it. So ideas exchanged in this colloquium would certainly help us prepare for these challenges. And often we are very busy in our regular work and we don't really keep track of what is happening, even those who are involved in manufacturing. So meetings like this would actually bring us together and expose us to what is really happening now. And now I would like to say a few words as the center for, as a representative of the Center for Continuing Education, which is there in IIT Madras. I also see this colloquium as a path to keep abreast of current trends as a representative of the Center for Continuing Education. I also wish to take this opportunity to invite faculty members to organize such programs, short-term programs, which the center supports always for faculty members from different colleges and also for people from the industry. And particularly for people from the industry, engineers from the industry, these courses can be tailor-made. That is, we can talk to that industry and make a course which fits the requirements of the industry, and the industries can directly approach our faculty members, they can formulate a course, and we at the Center for Continuing Education would definitely help in running these courses. We have also put several courses on the internet under this NPTEL, which can be freely viewed from anywhere in the world by anyone. I request all of you to please make use of this facility. And before I finish, I also wish to indicate that our institute is also planning to have several online programs, particularly aimed at industry. That is, we are going to have a program which will be two-way interactive online, which is for people in the industry. They stay in their industries and then do these courses. They don't have to come here. They may do it in the evenings. We are working out such a program, and very soon you will hear about it. So finally, I wish to thank all the invited speakers and all the participants who are here, And I wish to also thank the entire organizing team for making this colloquium an excellent success, a grand success. Thank you one and all for this opportunity. I now request Dr. V. Ramanujachari, our guest of honor, to deliver his address, and I will also take this opportunity to introduce him. He is known to almost all of us here, but anyway, it's my pleasant duty to introduce him formally. Dr. V. Ramanujachari, our guest of honor, is Director, Research and Innovation Center here in the Research Park under the DRDO, but also under the, it's also with IIT Madras. He is an alumnus of our institute. He did both his MTech and PhD degrees from IIT Madras. He worked in DRDL, Hyderabad, from 1982 to 1986, and also from 2004 to 2012. He worked at the Institute of Armament Technology, Pune, from 1987 to 2003, and he worked in the Faculty of Guided Missiles. He was a project director at DRDL, Hyderabad, in the project Hypersonic Technology Demonstrator Vehicle. He received several awards, and one of them is he received the DRDO Futuristic Innovation Award for scramjet engine development in 2010, and this was given by the Defense Minister. He has published about 65 papers, guided a number of PhD MTech students, and as you see, he is a very accomplished person. He has come here several times to lecture based on our request, and he also mentors several of the projects which we run with DRDO. So I request Dr. Ramanujachari to deliver his speech.
Thank you, Professor Ramesh, for your nice introduction. Dignitaries on the dais, my dear friend and our DRDO colleague Sudhir Mishraji, who is the CEO of BrahMos, and the other distinguished professors on the dais, off the dais, and the delegates of this colloquium. This organizing committee has they wanted to give me the position of a guest of honor. Actually, this is not the honor to an individual. This is the honor to the mechanical engineering department where from I received my education. And this is the honor to the people like Professor Shanmugam, who taught me to come up to this level to stand comfortably in front of you to say a few words. So I thought that I'll share with you some of my experience on the materials and manufacturing, though I don't really work much on this. As a project person in DRDL, I was given the task of making a scramjet engine for a hypersonic flight vehicle, hypersonic cruise missile, you can say. So that was a kind of a very challenging task. So I sat with the scientists in DRDL, particularly from the materials and manufacturing side. And you can find here Dr. Sai Kumar, who also worked with us towards the success of this development of the scramjet engine. The basic problem involved in this is that if you have the flight velocities going up and up, our heat loads also go up. It is, let us say flight velocity is V, the heat loads are coming out to be V cube. Okay. So that is a major task. So what's the kind of a material we can choose and whether that material is amenable for manufacturing? These are all the kind of questions which we'll have to answer. And we started from the scratch. Okay. So we know very well that the United States, they have an engine. They have flown using hydrogen for about 6 to 7 seconds at Mach number 9 and 11 of that order. Later on X-51 programs, they also flown using the hydrocarbon fuel. That is for a larger duration. And they have done 4 flights. Out of the 3 flights were failures. 4th one, they are saying that it's a success for about 240 seconds. So we thought that at least 1 order of magnitude less flight time we can manage with our existing materials, something like 20 seconds. So even for that, the task has been really very, very challenging. So what was important for us is that we have to look at the heat flux inside the combustion chamber, particularly the scramjet engine, something like 300 watts per centimeter square, and the surface temperatures of the combustor, something like 1600 Kelvin. The core temperatures, they are of the order of about 2500 Kelvin. And we thought that we can fly it for about 20 seconds with the existing materials available to us, wherein we can understand the material as well as we know how to do manufacturing. So we started with this, and everything we started just from the scratch. Okay. I should say that we have written down the programs right from first principles of thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, heat transfer. And then we started slowly building up the flow path of the engine. And later on we consulted our friends in material science metallurgy groups and then the manufacturing group. So what we arrived at was that we will be in a position to do this engine using a pneumonic material. Okay. So that's not a simple thing, it's again a challenge. But somehow that works out to be nicely doing well with our manufacturing group, so they are in a position to build a few numbers of engines. But what is the problem we faced really was the fuel injection elements, wherein they really face the brunt of combustion. And fuel injection elements, we thought that we'll try with different materials. And people have suggested that you can try pneumonic C263, niobium C103. Because niobium, we need to have the antioxidation coatings. So coatings work also we started parallelly. I'll come to that later on. So when we tried out this, all these materials, these two, whatever I named, they were not withstanding for more than about 5 seconds. Then we thought that we'll go for the tungsten nickel iron combination or tungsten copper combinations of the alloys for the fuel injection elements. Even those things, they are not working more than about 5-6 seconds inside the combustion chamber. Of course, finally, we said that we'll go for the active cooling. So these are all without cooling. We'll go for the 2-pass active cooling with stainless steel. So that has worked. Okay. Now that is not sufficient. This just for our survival, we have hit upon some idea and then we just worked. So we could produce a nice engine with this, but the antioxidation that we were struggling, and then the thermal protection also we were struggling for the coatings. So we thought that we can use YSZ for the coating, the thermal protection system. We can use silicide for the antioxidation coatings, but still we are not really today sure whether those things will work or not. Of course, fortunately we have a quick fix solution available with us, but which is not really sufficient, because we want to really go for something like about 600 seconds or 1000 seconds of duration. So that is going to be the future. This is just proving some engine which we want to do. We have completed the engine work by 2011. We have done the full scale test on the ground. We were happy, satisfied for about 20 seconds. But we actually want to go for 600 and more seconds, about 1000 seconds or more, because using this system, we can build the cruise missiles, and cruise missiles need a range, something of the order of about 1500 to 2000 kilometers. Otherwise, no weapon system man will look at us. Okay, he'll say that, okay, keep that technology with you like that. So we are right now thinking on those lines. That's where the knowledge of the manufacturing people and metallurgy people are going to come. We were under the impression that combustion is going to be a very severe problem. But later on I realized that my subject is nothing. It is the materials specialists and manufacturing people who will hold the promise for the development of this particular engine. So one way of looking at it is this. Then parallelly what we thought was that, another just small episode I'll tell you. I'm given about 5 minutes. I'll utilize the whole 5 minutes. See, we thought that we'll think of using, without an active cooling, zirconium diborate, which can withstand very high temperatures and high heat flux. So, sometime parallelly in 2005 itself, we thought that we'll do some development in some of the IITs. So, one professor, senior professor of metallurgy, and then one particular IIT, I don't want to name both. So we just gave a project, I would like to see the perception of an academic, the academic person and the person in the industry or the R&D lab. Okay. So he said that yes, we can do it, zirconium diborate, and then the project cost is something like 90 lakhs. He said, oh, 90 lakhs is not a big money, please have it and then develop it. You will get about 4 years time to develop this material. Like that we said, and okay, he was, doing all his research, and then a lot of PhDs, a lot of papers have come out, everything. After 4 or 5 years, when I just asked him, Professor, now I think the project has come to an end. Can I have a look at your zirconium diborate? So I have seen 2 buttons of zirconium diborate, which he gave it to me as a final thing. I told him, this has costed me 90 lakhs rupees. I asked him. He said, yes, this is all my work. If you want to do a scaling up and all that, you approach some industry. I am ready to give you know-how, like that. I told him that, no, right from the beginning we should have thought about making bigger sections. I have the combustion chamber, about 250 mm width and roughly about 300 mm height. So for that I need to have fuel injection elements with something like about 10 struts having something like 200 holes. Sai Kumar knows that what is the kind of a trouble he has taken to drill small fine holes on that. They are all fuel injection holes. If that has to be made, it will take another 10-15 years time. May make use of the zirconium diborate, like that. So basic perception problem is that yes, academics we can do only 2 buttons, whereas it is industry has to make a huge this thing. But now I'll tell you, it is changing. It is changing because of the research parks you have. Say, I'm fortunate to come here in 2012 end to head the one of our new innovation centers, research innovation center of DRDO, to bring the academia and the industry, all the laboratories together, and tell right in the beginning that you are going to make zirconium diborate not to give me a button, to give me a fuel injection element. So it is actually something like concept to the product. So this is what now we are realizing it, and I find the academia reaction is something really wonderful. So we have now about 12 products, 12 projects. All the 12 projects we are defined like this. We'll start from 0, but we would like to see a product. That product should get into one of my weapon systems. Because I find that so many MTech theses are written, MS theses are written, PhD theses are written, but nothing is seeing the light of the day. Everything should see the light of the day with some product development which should be useful for our mankind. So I want each and every one of you to think on those lines and take your projects in such a way that you will finally end up with, let it be a very small product, no problem, but it should be of useful to us, either to the civilian population or to the military. Okay. With these few words, I am really thankful to you, Professor Samuel, for giving me this opportunity and honor, and I am really proud that I come from this institution. This institution has made me really, worthful of thinking about national problems. Okay, I could get this from this institution. I am grateful to professors like Shanmugam for molding us to this kind of level. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
So now it is a pleasant task to introduce the chief guest, Mr. Sudhir Kumar Mishra. I think I have briefly mentioned about him during the welcome note, but then now I would like to give his profile in more detail. I think Mishra is an outstanding scientist in DRDO, and currently he is the CEO and Managing Director of BrahMos, and also the Chief Controller R&D BrahMos. So he has been heading the various activities, and also he was the head of Program Office Missiles in DRDO headquarters, Delhi, and wherein he has coordinated several international joint missiles development programs with various countries like Russia, Israel and France. Of course, as I said earlier, we are very happy to have him with us as the chief guest because he is our alumnus and he graduated from this institute from the same manufacturing engineering division, the MTech degree in 1994, and currently he is pursuing his PhD, I think again in manufacturing at NIT Warangal. Hopefully he will be completing it soon and becomes Dr. Sudhir Kumar Mishra. So he worked with Abdul Kalam in design and development of several missile systems, including the Integrated Guided Missiles Development Program, IGMDP, including the Agni missile program. I think he served as counselor defense technology in Embassy of India, Moscow, during the period of 2003 to 2007, coordinating various activities about BrahMos and initiated several R&D projects. And he has represented DRDO in intergovernmental meetings with Russia and France, and he has worked as director for international cooperation in DRDO to steer the collaborative projects with many foreign countries. I think he received Scientist of the Year 2009 award from the Prime Minister of India. Now I have great pleasure in inviting him to give his the speech as the chief guest.
Thank you, Professor Ramesh Babu, for nice introduction. Respected Professor Shanmugam, professor sitting on the dais, and friends. I feel honored and privileged to be part of colloquium organized in the honor of to facilitate Professor Shanmugam. I am sure all of you who are assembled here, they have some kind of association with Professor Shanmugam in one way or other. We have our own memories of association and rewards in terms of knowledge and awakening. I would like to touch upon few of them. I would like to tell first about my own journey. I come from a very humble background, a small city in central India called Jabalpur. And I'm sure that the milestones and achievements which I have gathered must have been gathered by all of you in some form or other also. I have been appointed as a CEO and MD of BrahMos Aerospace Private in the month of August, 1st August. So today is my 6th working day in BrahMos Aerospace. I would like to tell something about BrahMos. BrahMos is a supersonic missile having a range of 290 kilometers, and it's a joint venture between India and Russia. And this missile is a supersonic missile having a range of, having a Mach number of 3, approximately 3. And I lead the world best and most technologically advanced cruise missile company. And this missile can take on a tactical small target like bridge, a group of people, a group of stores 300 kilometers away with pinpoint accuracy. I have not prepared my presentation, otherwise I would have brought the video and shown you that we have taken down the ships 300 kilometers away, located in the deep sea. BrahMos missile is having, it can be launched from several platforms, from land, from ship, from submarine, from aircraft, from silos, from any place you can think of. It's multi-platform weapon. I can just mention it that I have enough business for another decade. I can very well run my company, pay dividends, give profit, give employment to my employees, and keep all the stakeholders happy. But thanks to IIT, thanks to professors who taught me here and in my college, they taught me that you shouldn't feel protected. You should be enterprising. You should think about future. What would happen after 5 years, after 10 years? So we are developing. I will not say developing. We have on the drawing board a BrahMos Mini. This missile would be of same size, same range, but much smaller in the size, about 2/3 of the size. It would be able to carry the similar kind of weapons to the same distance with similar speed, but much smaller in the size. The idea is to have it launched from the aircraft and submarine, again against tactical targets. So we are working on that. Apart from that, we are working on a hypersonic version of BrahMos missile. It is not even on the drawing board, it is in the laboratory. ISC Bangalore and Moscow Aviation Institute and few more institutes in India. We are trying to develop the missile for similar kind of ranges, but in the Mach speed 7 to 9. And the way development in the material technology and propulsion technology is taking place, we are sure that we would be able to develop this kind of missile. Now, I would like to come back to my association with Professor Shanmugam. I would like to tell the story how a ordinary scientist from DRDO could think of, to become a very challenging, a man in the belly kind of person. There were few incidences which I'm sure Professor Shanmugam also must have forgotten. The very first was, he was our coordinator for MTech program, and when he came, he said that you guys coming from different part of this country, I have to tell you something good, something bad. You see, human body is very adaptive. Human mind is also very adaptive. So you can work, you can study 18 hours, 20 hours, 22 hours. You are not going to die. Nobody has died because of hard work. People have died because of not working. You will get all kind of diseases if you don't work. And that has put, fear of God in the minds of everybody. And I always remembered this. Whenever I come in the morning, 9 o'clock in the office, I convince myself that I'm not going to die because of non-working. And I tell all my colleagues, I have not died, I don't have any disease, you also will not die, you also will not have any disease. I always remember him daily in the morning, sir. So, and when I became CEO and MD of BrahMos, I was thinking about the past, about the history, who all have made difference in my life, what have been the game changers. I thought about my parents, I thought about my counselors, friends, and teachers of my primary school, secondary school, college. But the person whom I could think of as a game changer in my life, that has been Professor Shanmugam, because of some incidents I would tell you later. I worked under him for my research project, and everybody created, again, every time fear that he is very disciplined person, be careful, if you go, your MTech will not happen. I said, okay, what do I do? Then they said, then anyway, with a lot of fear, I went to him, I said, sir, I want to do MTech research under you, but I have only this much time because I have to go back and join my DRDO. He said, you forget about the time, you concentrate on the work. Okay, so time and all that comes and go. In his, very disciplinary manner, he convinced me that now you have approached me, so you are not going to go to any other professor. So anyway, you have to work with me. I agreed. I said, sir, I would work with you. And it was the most challenging time of my life. I used to prepare, I used to write, I used to go to him, and he used to look at it and say, it's substandard. You go back, come back again. And after some time, I realized that my brain has stopped working. It has become numb. I cannot think beyond it. But the moment I used to think I have become numb, I used to go to him and he used to give me the idea, no, this can be done like this. You have not thought about it. Go, work like this. I used to rush back, and fortunately, I completed my work in time. Although I was running with my report the last hours to submit to the Professor KK, it was KK, I'm forgetting, we used to call him KK. Yeah. So I was running, I have handed him over, and after that, I have defended my research, came back, I was just waiting in the outside of manufacturing engineering building, and then I saw him coming. I ran towards him. I said, sir, was it okay? He said, come with me. That was the golden period of my life. He took me to canteen. He said, today I'll treat you with a cup of tea. And my seniors told me that the day he treats you with a cup of tea, it means you have done a good job. It means you are through. It means he has, he has given back your honor. So you be happy. Sir, I can still taste that tea in my mouth even now, even today. It was a fantastic cup of tea. I'm thankful to you for your gesture, and I'm thankful to you for disciplining my mind, my body, my soul. Whatever I am today, you have large role to play in that. So that's all, my friends, I have to tell you, I have to share with you. I invite all of you to visit BrahMo's website, and if you get some engineering solution or problems, kindly drop email. And you are free to visit. We have work centers at Hyderabad, Nagpur, and small research teams in Visakhapatnam, Bangalore, and Mumbai. Going to set up few things in Rajasthan. So if you get any idea about missile technology, kindly help us. We are good at it in the missile technology, in DRDO and in BrahMos. Thank you, sir. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request few of the delegates to share their views about the colloquium.
So good evening, one and all on the dais, of the dais. My name is Jnanamurthy, Anna University, Viluppuram campus. It's a great pleasure. I am the delegate for this occasion. It's a very memorable day on 2 days program. Particularly our Professor Shanmugam sir. I heard about that. It is a wonderful achievement in the life, in the society. I thank our professors. Also, it is a 2 days. It is a highly potential sharing of knowledge, like a young myself, like that our delegates. It is a wonderful exchanging of knowledge through that type of programs. It is actively involved all teamwork in the program, success of this program, as well as thank to all working in this curriculum. Thank you.
Any other person who can share his views?
Very good evening to all presented here. I am M. Prakash, a research scholar from an university. This colloquium, it's also been a memorable day in my life. As being a research scholar, we are gathering a lot of knowledges from the various peoples presented here. And apart from, we know about a lot of things from the IIT Madras, because we have studied all this in self-financing colleges and MTech alone in an university. So we know about the institutions and academic sides, and apart from how the academics are useful to the society. And a lot of things we heard about the professors presented here, and how they are helping to the society as well as students' environments. And we have to thank to all the peoples, those that are being invited as a delegates to all the research scholars, especially for as per a part of and facilitation of Professor M.S. Shanmugam sir. I'm grateful thank to our guide also. He are asking me to participate here to compulsory to attend and get a lot of knowledges from here. And thanking you, sir.
Good evening, participants. My name is Sankar Narayan Swami. I am from NIT Trichy. I came only today afternoon. Yesterday I missed out to participate in this colloquium. Mr. Sir, you should have joined for PhD. Had you joined, you would have been treated with a tea every morning and evening, all the 5 days. That's how I had my relationship with him. Throughout my entire 4-year stay, he used to get me 2 teas a day. And that makes though to see from outside, he is very tough and all those things, but he is a very soft man. And I could realize that the 4 years of my association with him is what made me what I am today. More than anything else, he builds in confidence in you. He builds in, he shows you what you are capable of. That is what Professor Shanmugam is. Because I missed out on yesterday, I wanted to share my views about my association with Professor Shanmugam here. And it is nice that Samuel and company has organized such a wonderful colloquium in felicitating our beloved Professor Shanmugam. Hats up to Samuel and co. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We have been passing the cards. Please write your comments about our event. Now is the time to announce the best paper and the poster award. May I request Dr. Satyan to announce the results. Starting with the best paper award, I request our chief guest to give away the prizes.
Before we actually announce the awards, I just want to inform how we actually came about judging the different papers and awards. So please give me a couple of minutes so that I will go through sort of the criteria and how we went about it. Okay. So we're going to give awards for both the papers and the posters as well. Yeah, as you know, some sessions were oral sessions and some were poster display sessions. So we're going to give awards for both the papers that were presented orally and also posters that were presented visually as well as explained by the display person. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so we're going to have a best paper award. Besides that, we'll have 2 runner-ups for the best paper, and similarly for the poster awards as well, we'll have the best poster award and also the 2 runner-ups for that. Yeah. In terms of how the papers and posters were judged, for the paper award, as you know, each session had a chair and a co-chair, so they were tasked, in addition to running the session, with choosing and helping us choose a few papers and rank them and give some criteria for, ranking for those papers. So that happened during each session. You may have noticed it that the session chairs were busily filling up some sheets. So these rankings were collated, and then based on that, we picked 3 papers out of it. For the poster awards, 2 of our MES manufacturing engineering section IIT Madras colleagues were going around and judging the posters. So these 2 faculty, they're faculty members. So they went around and judged the posters and ranked them. Again, these rankings were collated, and then we came up with 3 posters for that. This is the criteria that was used for the best paper award. We were trying to see whether you clearly presented the motivation of the work, whether you were able to clearly distinguish what your work was compared to what others have done in that area. Were you clearly explaining the methodology that was used, what results were clearly presented out? Was your conclusions very clear? Also, in addition to that, just a bit of how you presented in general, and also whether you were able to answer the question and answers. And for each of these categories, the judges gave points from 1 to 10, with 10 being the best and 1 being the low. So that's sort of how the judgment happened for the best paper award. Yeah. For the best posters, there were 3 criteria that were used by our 2 faculty who were the judges. They were looking at the format to see how you have formatted the whole poster. In addition to that, how you explained the poster and how it was, what you researched, and also aspects of innovation and novelty were also tested. So this is sort of how we judge that. Okay. Before I go into the awards, I have to do an apology. The apology is because we're not able to completely print all the certificates, because, as you know, the technical session just ended, and also the poster display was just before that, so we don't have all the certificates printed. So we have the best paper awards certificate printed, and the best poster awards, but not the best poster runner-up. So I apologize for that. But as soon as this felicitation is over, by the time you can just pick it up outside before you leave. So I have to apologize for that. Okay, so I'm going to start with the best paper award. So I will call upon Dr. Mishra to please come. Okay, so the second runner-up goes to ICM1758. The authors are Suresh Kumar, Sivakumar, Sudalkar, Venkata Krishnan, and Ashutosh Gandhi. So if all the authors are there, you can come up to the stage, or if one of you is representative, to come up to the stage as well. So please join hands in congratulating them. The first runner-up goes to ICM1416, paper number. The authors are Pawar, Murli Krishnan, Arun Kumar, Guru Prasad, and Pant. So if all the authors are there, please come up to the stage, or one of you also can pick up on behalf of the others. Yeah. So please join hands in congratulating them. Okay, now for the grand finale for the best paper awards. The best paper award goes to Wankadia and Sharmab for their paper on study of hybrid machining of electric discharge and abrasive jet machining. The authors here, Wankadia and Sharmab. Okay, if not, we'll just mail the certificates to them. So let's just give them a hand, even though they're not here. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Mishra. Yeah. For the best posters, I would like to invite Sir Ramanujan, please. Yeah. Again, apologies to the runner-ups. The certificates are not ready, but we will have them available before you leave from here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the second runner-up for the best poster award goes to poster number ICM1269. Authors are Birru and Benny Karunakar.
Certificates are ready, sir. Certificates are
Have been signed? Okay. Sorry, are the authors here? Okay, if not, anyway, we'll just join hands for their efforts in producing this poster. The first runner-up goes to Sundararajan, Rama, Vaishnavi, and Gopal for their poster ICM2602. Again, are those awardees here? Anyway, yeah, good job for their performance. And finally, the best poster award goes to Venkatesh, Shashank, and Arun for their work on micro ECM. Again, the authors are not here. Anyway, we thank them for their very good job. Thank you very much.
I wish a very good luck for all the winners. Now, I request the organizing secretary to please hand over the memento to Professor A. Ramesh so that he could hand over to S.K. Mishra. I request Professor NRB to give a memento to Prof. V. Ramanujachari.
Professor Ramesh, CC.
I request the organizing secretary to give a memento to A. Ramesh, Professor A. Ramesh. Thank you, sir. Now I request the organizing secretary, ICMMM 2014, to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, the keynote speakers, and all the faculty, staff, student friends, and all the delegates, a very good evening to all of you. On behalf of this organizing committee, ICMMM2014, I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose this vote of thanks to all those who contributed in one way or the other to make this conference a great success. I was just thinking that it's just begun, the inaugural has just begun, but already we are there in the valedictory function. So I would just like to mention that about the total number of participants for this ICMM 2014 was 332. The number of student candidates were 127 and the faculty members were 120 and the participants from industry were 85. So generally in this kind of a academic kind of deliberations, there will be less number of industries. Even we expected there will be very less, but we had 85 participants from the industry. So now it is my duty to thank all the people. So when I noted down, it ran into 2 pages, but still I am afraid I would be missing some of you in thanking this. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank Shri S.K. Mishra for accepting our invitation and for being with us in spite of all the new responsibilities which he has received. When I was talking about the chief guest to some of the people, they said probably you would have spoken to Shri Mishra long time back, so he accepted the invitation. Now he may not come, that is what they were telling. So because he has taken as the CEO of BrahMos, so he may not be able to come in August. But then later when I called back him, he said, I am coming. So we are really very grateful to you, sir. Then we came to understand that since he had the association with Professor Shanmugam, so in spite of all his busy schedules and all the other commitments, so he left all of them and then he was there with us. So we thank you, sir. Actually, Shri Mishra wanted to come for the felicitation function and somehow he tried, but yesterday when we were inside the felicitation, outside it was raining heavily and the flights and the traffic were delayed and then he couldn't make it up. But today I am glad that he was able to speak few words about Professor Shanmugam sir, and this has become even a felicitation along with the valedictory. So I thank you very much, sir. I would also like to thank Dr. V. Ramanujachari. So he has readily accepted to be the co-chairman of this colloquium or the conference, and then he has been a constant support and he has been giving the ideas. So even Dr. Ramanujachari was in a way he was not able to come because of these health reasons, but in spite of that he has taken this as a challenge, maybe against even the doctor's advice. So he has been with us here. So I am very grateful to you, sir, and thank you very much. So I'd like to thank Professor A. Ramesh, the chairman for the Center for Continuing Education. So most of the colleges outside might know this, since you are coming through, some of the people applying for PhDs and MTechs through QIP program, so they'll be coming through this CCE office. So they have also actually provided us the 2 lecture halls in the 3rd floor where the parallel sessions have gone there. So we take this opportunity to thank you, sir. Also we'd like to thank the director, the dean, ICSR, and all the staff of ICSR and the media and other people who has worked with us day and night throughout this conference. We'd also place on record the thanks to the head of the department, the faculty, staff, and all the students of our department, and also the retired staff who have come and supported this program. We'd also like to thank all the sponsors. So their response was very spontaneous, and then they came forward to meet the expenses of this conference. Since we have kept the registration fee very nominal, so we needed additional funds and they came forward very happily. We'd also like to thank VisIQ, our media partner, so who has live streamed this program, so right from the inaugural till the felicitation. So we'd like to thank them. And also we'd like to thank all the members of the advisory and the organizing committee. And also we'd like to thank all the reviewers who came forward and reviewed these papers and helped us in bringing out the proceedings. So I'd also like to thank all the keynote speakers. So some of them are with us still. So we are very glad and surprised that many of the distinguished speakers have accepted our invitation and they have come here. So like Professor, all the people who came here were because of the association with Professor Shanmugam. So we'd like to thank all the people. We had, when we planned for this colloquium, we had different levels of people who have been supporting us. So we had advisory committee, then we had organizing committee, and then we had the working committee, which has actually been working really hard in making this successful. So in our manufacturing engineering division, we have Professor Shanmugam, Professor Ramesh Babu sir, and Professor L. Vijayaraghavan, who is head of our section, advising us. And then I am being the secretary of this colloquium, so I have been working. But more than this, actually we had individual committees, so we called them as working committees, so who have been put the real work in making all these things. So I think I need to mention them name by name, so I'll just ask the volunteers who have been working on the faculty coordinator of each of these committees just to stand when I mention, and we'd like to thank you. The registration committee and the treasurer, Dr. Sushant Kumar Panigrahi, and then the team of volunteers who have helped us in the registration. Yeah, thank you. Then the program committee and the awards committee, Dr. Satyan, Dr. Amitav Ghosh, and then all the volunteers who have worked with him. Thank you. Then we have the coordination for the inaugural and valedictory function and the other facilities, Dr. Soundar Pandian and then his team. Thank you. The transport and accommodation were a difficult task. We wanted actually to provide accommodation for all the participants, but we couldn't do. So with the limited accommodation what we had on campus, so we were able to host some of you. So I'd like to thank the transport and accommodation committee coordinators, Dr. Arunachalam and Dr. Anil Kumar Meena, and all the volunteers who have worked hard, went to the airport and picked up the chief guests and other guests. We thank you. For food and culturals, we had the coordination from Anna University, Dr. Hariharan and Dr. Kandababu. So they have done a good job and given us a nice food. So thank you very much. And then we had the felicitation function coordinator, Dr. Sujata Srinivasan. She is from our department, from machine design section, and we have the coordinator, student coordinator Vinod. Yeah, so we thank you very much for all the good work you have done. We also have our Master of Ceremony and Announcements Committee. So I have been here tirelessly working, so we'd like to thank all of them. So though we all faculty were actually giving ideas, but our students and volunteers were the legs and hands who were doing all this job. So some of them, they worked so hard that they even fell sick. So we said them take enough rest, but they worked hard, and then they even to the extent that they have become sick. But we take this opportunity and thank one and all who have helped in this. So we'd also like to thank the web developers. So where we had about 50,000 clicks on our website. So as soon as we published the about the advertisement about the website, so all the people started looking at it, and then it was so great that about 50 to 60,000 clicks were there as of today. So now I'd like to thank all the people who have helped us, and then last but not the least, all the participants. So their enthusiasm and then the response was very spontaneous. So as soon as we put up these things on the website, so they started clicking in and then registering. So we were very glad that we received a great response, and then they were with us. So I'd also one more time like to thank all our staff. Yeah, we'd like to thank all our staff members who have been coordinating with the faculty and then the student volunteers. Can I request all the staff members who are here from manufacturing and then precision engineering and all the mechanical engineering. So some of them are there in the studio and other places. Even some of our retired staff, they have come forward actually to support us. Can you please stand? Just like to thank all of them. Yeah, thank you. So I'm afraid, yeah, in spite of writing a big list, maybe I would have missed somebody, some of the people. So obviously, all the students and research scholars of Professor M.S. Shanmugam sir was there, and then they have come forward, even contributing to the endowment fund which we have planned to institute in the name of Professor Shanmugam sir, so that all his contributions actually will be remembered for a long time. So I thank all those people who have contributed to the endowment fund. Sir, is there anybody whom I have missed? Okay, so thank you very much, one and all, and thank you for making this colloquium a grand success. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Also, I'll thank all the participants for their responses in form of feedback. It was great for us. Now request everyone to stand for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तव शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे